We're joined now by Jessica Riches, who became the Twitter voice for student occupations during the protests over tuition fees, and the internet entrepreneur who founded lastminute.com, Brent Hoberman. I think we've got a bit of footage of you, Jessica, in full flight as a protester, and it was sort of reasonably early days of discovering the power of Twitter. I think that... There she is. Well, anyway, I can see there's a bit of tweeting going on. All right, well, let me ask you, I mean, are you worried that, you know, corporate life is going to, in some way, damage Twitter?
I think that Twitter's made such a good name for itself on giving people a platform to speak about anything, be it politics or your personal opinion. And I don't think they want to ruin that by making it seem overcome by corporate voices, even if they are now floating on the stock market.
How do you read this flotation, Brent Hoberman?
Certainly, although they're run by a comedian, they're going to have to get more serious. And obviously, but they're already on that path. So their revenues have gone dramatically. A few years ago, people saying how they were a laughingstock. People say they can never make money. Now people are saying maybe it's $1 billion of revenue next year. So they're getting good at mobile advertising. And I think what it means is they're going to have to do more. They're going to have to find more revenue streams. But they're going to have to make it, as Jessica says, they're going to have to make it useful. The ads are going to be useful, and they can't put their audience off. But they won't do that. Business is such that, you know, good advertising and stuff are things that people want.
But nobody's on Twitter really for the advertising, are they? And isn't that something which will, in some way, damage the freedom which knocks around on it?
I think everywhere I go now, I've got adverts being catapulted at me, and I think the way that Twitter's working through it is they're going to make them at least useful adverts to me, and I think that that's something to be proud of.
I mean, the beauty of Twitter is in a sense that you can kind of filter out anybody you don't want, and would that still be effective in a corporate world?
Yeah, I don't think they'll let you filter out ads totally, but I think they will make them more and more tailored. I mean, there always were arguments that maybe you could pay to have no ads, but I don't think people want that. I think that if the ads are targeted to you and personalized, in the end, sometimes people do want ads. If you're offering me a deal, and it's actually something that interests me, and I save 30%, I'd like it. So earlier it was talked about that Twitter will get more into e-commerce, and I could see that happening too.
Jessica, is Twitter still the first tool of rebellion?
I don't know if I can speak for everyone that wants to rebel, but I think it definitely gives you a platform to express your view, and I think that it's the chosen network for that because of the public nature of it. I would rather express my content or discontent at something on Twitter to people where people can potentially pick that up even if they don't know who I am, to on Facebook where it's just my friends that are just going to see me ranting.
Thus, it's going to be, when in sort of public hands, it's going to be a strange marriage between what often is rebellion or cheekiness or quirkiness or whatever, and corporate interests to push something relatively straight.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, running a public company is not fun. Mark Zuckerberg saw it at the early days of Facebook, but he said yesterday, don't be put off about taking this company. He said to Twitter, don't be put off, take the company public. It really helped us focus. So he gave some interesting advice to Twitter yesterday. Actually, he said, for us, it really helped them focus and drill down on what really mattered and what really counted.
How do you read it? Do you see this as basically, hell, they've got the thing's worth so much money, let's sell it, let's make a bit of money, a lot of money, 10 billion or something? Or do you see it as somebody saying, no, actually, if we're going to really make this work, we need more money and we need to do it by raising it on the stock market?
Well, they've given us a really useful tool through Twitter, so I don't begrudge them the fact that they want to take it the next level as a business decision, and that hopefully will impact the user's experience. If people have a problem with Twitter, I think Twitter are quite good at listening and taking into account the problem, like the problem with abuse that people had. They thought, okay, well, let's put in an abuse button, and it wasn't like they completely ignored the users. It's changed so little since it first came into play, however many years ago. So I think that they're not going to just stop listening to the users who've made it what it is now.
Will you still trust it?
I still trust Twitter at the moment. I've got my fingers crossed that this is going to work out for everyone. I think that they've got the users' interests at heart.
But a privatised Twitter, I mean, a floated Twitter will be just as trustworthy as the slightly anarchic beast it's been till now. They
would lose the users if they didn't keep the free spirit, I think.
You agree, I think, too much.
Too much, I agree. I mean, I think Twitter, I mean, the interesting about them going public is they're actually relatively small, 250 million users compared to companies like Facebook and others and their Chinese equivalents. So I think this is going to enable them to get a lot bigger. Yes, they'll be a bit more corporate, but I don't think it'll stop them from, as a media platform and as a global communications platform, they're going to be more and more entwined into our daily lives.
Brent Hoberman and Jessica Riches, thank you both very much indeed. Kathy?
Thanks, John.
Oh, and for more analysis on the channel, I'm not Kathy, I'm just sort of, I said she could come in there, but I'm actually going to tell you that if you want more analysis facing a publicly listed Twitter, you can go straight to our website. That's channel4.com/news and follow the link. And now it really is Kathy. Kathy.
Thanks, John.